Hi friends, I'm Kim with Cosmic Studios, and today I am going to take a picture of a jellyfish that I got off of Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to put it onto this glass right here using UV resin. Are you ready? Shall we try it? I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to work out really great if I'm being honest. So let me get this taped into the glass and let's get started, shall we?
Okay, we have our jellyfish taped into the glass. As I said, printed this off of Cricut Design Space. If you are an excellent artist, obviously you can make your own, draw your own, print it out, and put it in there. And I actually went ahead and I printed it on laser paper so that I can, if I so desire, gold foil it or holographic foil it later. But again, that's something for another video. I'm going to use rubbing alcohol to really clean this up, and this is going to have to go step by step, leg by leg, body part by body part. I was going to try and use a glue gun to trap the resin in between strands of glue, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that needs to happen. I think it's totally fine. I do think that I want to use some white to outline the jellyfish. You know what's weird is this kit of Let's Resin colored pearlescent UV resin came with 2 containers of white and no black. Black would have been really cool. I do have some alcohol inks, but I don't think I'm going to mess with those today. I think rather than mess with alcohol inks, I will just use white to maybe highlight the main body of the jellyfish. But for now, these are nice because they come with like these little cone-shaped lids so that you have a little more control where you're putting this stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this outer leg here, and we're going to work that way. I have my Let's Resin UV lamp here, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I think I want to use a purple, a blue, and a pink for the legs. Let's start with purple, and we're just going to go ahead and just kind of trace over. Get it shook down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and just trace over right here. The only bummer is I don't think I'm going to be able to get that tight little squiggle down at the bottom there. Maybe if I do it like that, and then I think I'm going to get this on here right quick because I don't want the resin to shift around too much. I really don't want it to shift around at all, but we'll go ahead and we'll put the UV lamp on here and see how that goes. We'll be back in just a second. Okay, I am pleased with how that came out. Very pleased. For the next one, I'm going to use pink. So, oops, I don't want to take the whole cap off. I'm going to just take this one off. Shake it down a little bit. And again, follow the picture here. Alright, and we're going to go in with the blue light again. This time just for 2 minutes. I don't think we need to do it for 3. I think 3 seemed like a bit of a long time. And I also feel like when I'm done, I will take the paper picture out of the glass, flip the glass, and UV resin, or I'm sorry, not UV resin, hit it with the UV light so that that side is completely cured. Now the disclaimer here is that once you do this with the glass, you will no longer be able to put it in the dishwasher. Another disclaimer is this part up here is going to be very close to your lip. This is not food safe, which means you don't want to put your lips on the resin. So, if you are drinking out of this glass, you want to drink out of the other side. And besides that, if you're holding it the other way, people aren't going to see how pretty it is. So you want to make sure and face the design away from you when you're drinking, because like I said, this is not food safe. You don't want to take any chances of getting sick from it. I don't know what can happen. I just know I don't want to know what can happen. I know that food safe resin, even that they tell you don't eat off of it. Which probably means you could put things like hard candies in a food safe resin dish, maybe. Maybe not gummy candies. And the reason I say that is I remember years ago when I was a kid, they did a bacteria thing where they put an M&M on the floor, and then they took something that was tacky and gummy and whatever, I don't remember what it was, and then they tested both for floor funk, and the M&M tested nothing, but the other thing obviously picked up all of the gross, bio-disgusting things that you don't want. Okay, so it expanded just a little bit. It's touching the purple. I'm not bothered by that. I think now what I want to do is I want to go in with the light blue and do this one down the center. So I'm going to go light blue down the center, pink, and then purple. Don't move. You're fine. You know what? I can hold it up like that when I'm doing it. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to go do the rest of the legs, and we'll come back. Okay, we have our legs done. I have the cup flipped because I want to see what I'm doing up here in this portion. But I remembered that I have some HXDZFX glow pigment powder. I think I want to put some glow pigment powder in this section here. So I think what I'm going to do is first I will go in. I put the white one away. Of course I did. I think I'm going to go in with the white first and outline it in white. No, I did not put the white away. It's over here. It was out of the way. I think what I'm going to do is outline this part in white, and then I'll go in and mix up the glow powder, which this is so cool. I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, but they give you this black light to kind of go in, and of course it would require me turning off lights, but I think, nope, you can't really see it. I would have to turn off the lights, and we'll do that at the end of the video. But for now, let's go over here and get this part done, which I think we might be smart and do it kind of in sections. So I think I'm going to go along the line here first because I can use my UV resin light to hold it. I think that's going to be what I'm going to do. We're going to try it. We'll get back to you. Hang tight. I am going to be honest and say that we ran into a little bit of a hiccup with the Kisserl UV resin that I used to mix some mica powders into. It is thick. I mean, I'm sorry. Cross that. It is thin. It is a very thin, very, very thin, very easy to run resin. So we had a couple of spots that ran, and we had to correct that situation. And so what I'm doing now is I'm literally rocking this glass back and forth under the UV light. There are some runs, but I think it's still going to work. I think it's still going to be really pretty. There's a spot I'm seeing on here that I may or may not need to or want to remove with an X-Acto knife. But I'm just rocking this back and forth because I'm afraid if I leave it in one spot for too long, it's literally going to run. I think it's probably okay now. I can give you a little bit of a preview of it. It does have some run spots in it, but I think it's still really pretty. So the UV resin that I used to mix up some white interference powder along with some of the sky blue glow-in-the-dark pigment powder, this is very, very runny. This stuff here was very, very viscous, which made it really nice in terms of being able to lay it down where I wanted it and have it stay. This, it was a big space to cover. You can see it kind of ran there. I'm not upset with it. I think it's still really, really pretty. There's one spot right there that I think I'm going to try and take up with the X-Acto knife. And I do have a little cleanup here to do. But I did want to point out again that this will not be something that you can put in the dishwasher. You are not going to want to put your lips on that section up there. And those are things that I just want you to know about, because I do not, you know, these are very important disclaimers. That said, if you want to mix up colors and you want to work on a surface that is rounded where the resin might run, what you're going to want is the resin that is viscous. It's going to have what's called a high viscosity, so that means it's thicker. And you want to, sorry, this is going to be noisy. You want to make sure that if you have the situation, you're kind of moving your project back and forth under your UV lamp, just to make sure that it doesn't completely run. There were a couple times I was trying to do two things at once, and well, we know sometimes saving time that way doesn't actually save you any time at all. So I will end up having to scrape an area, and I ran up into having some runs, which is okay, because it is a jellyfish. Jellyfish are kind of wonky anyway, and I'm not quite done with it. I think I'm going to add a couple of bubbles in there, and I was kind of toying with the idea of maybe putting like some red dots in there, but I don't know. I think this is really cool looking, but I do want to make sure that whoever I give this to knows that it is a jellyfish. It is supposed to be an underwater scene, and I don't actually know how glow-in-the-dark this will be, because the interference powder might not mix well with the glow-in-the-dark powder, and it's been my experience in the past that the glow-in-the-dark pigment powders, while they're really cool, it takes, for me anyway, a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of light to get them to hold the light and actually be glow-in-the-dark. So keep that in mind when you are working on a project where you want some glow-in-the-dark stuff. And I'm going to real quick just see if there's a possibility that I can scrape this. I don't want to get in here and scrape around too much, because I don't want to you know what, I think I may just leave it. What I don't want to do is poke into one of the little tentacles down there, although that kind of came off decently. Okay, well, I don't know. I feel like it's a situation where you should just quit while you're ahead. This really doesn't show up that terribly much. And I think what I want to do anyway is I wanted to add some, we'll call it, why do I want to say grass? Grass, as if we're out in the wild. Some seaweed pieces and some bubbles. So I think I'm going to do that, and then we will reconvene. But yeah, I did have a little bit of cleanup over here that I had to do, because it ran. And when I say it ran, let me just tell you, I had a little bit of a mess over here. All right, I'm going to go add some seaweed and some bubbles, and we'll be back. Okay, we've got the seaweed. We have a few bubbles there. And we have our finished product here, which I think turned out so well. This here needs a little work. I'm going to go work on that with, you know what? I don't think alcohol is going to do it.
I do hope that you liked my video today. I hope you got some instruction out of it. Just remember, if you're working on a curved surface, you definitely want a higher viscosity resin. This stuff that I used to make the tentacles was the Let's Resin UV resin in the pearlescent colors. And then I did use some, what is it called? It's called interference powder, interference mica powder. It's gorgeous. And then I also mixed in a little bit of the glow in the dark sky blue resin. I still don't know, or not resin, but the pigment powder. I mixed that into the kiss roll, which, as I stated earlier, was very runny and very difficult to work with on this type of a surface. Any other surface, that stuff is great, but on a surface like this where you've got a serious curve, that stuff really wants to give you a run for your money, literally. Right now I do have the glass in its little, I have the setup where it is top and bottom being cured right now at this time. I have it in its little cocoon here. As soon as I get the glass out, I can show you what the cocoon looks like. In fact, I think it's probably cured, but I wanted to make sure that I got the not only the outside cured, but the back side or the inside of the glass cured as well. And I did that by virtue of using this type of a setup by Let's Resin. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel, as it does help me grow and it does help to guide other people to my channel. I would really appreciate that, because as you know, it's really difficult as a new creator trying to grow a channel. Well, maybe you don't know, but it is not easy. It definitely takes some time. So please like and subscribe. I hope you have a fantastic journey in your crafting, and don't forget to release your inner artisan. Thank you.